I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about I became complacent.
This is a tough feeling.
You know, one of the toughest things about being complacent is like looking back and you realize you were, and now you're like legitimately concerned that your behavior really did cause the attraction to diminish or decrease, and you know that you're part of the issue.
And it's hard because you think about that quote, you know, when people are on their deathbeds and they say, you regret the things that you didn't do, not so much the things that you did. And complacency really is one of those things where you wish you would have been more expressive about your love. You wish you would have been more attentive, you know, and that can be a really hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Before we continue, I did want to say that Craig and I are available for coaching sessions. If you would like a one-on-one for your situation, you can sign up on our website and look at our availability from there.
Absolutely. We'll be happy to help you. Breakups are so confusing. You know, relationships kind of have phases, right? And at the beginning, it's so exciting when you're meeting somebody new, and we have so much hope. We're just overwhelmed with excitement and hope, and it feels like Christmas Eve, and the next day is Christmas, and every time you go, you have a date with that person. It's like Christmas is that next day, and you're so excited about it. But that unfortunately doesn't last. That honeymoon, they often call it the honeymoon stage or the honeymoon phase. It often doesn't last. But what happens to us is in that beginning time, our brain is like a drug addict. It gets taken over by all these chemicals, you know, bonding chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and we feel amazing. It's almost like a drug, an addiction. It's just some of the best feelings that people ever experience, that feeling of love. And so we work so hard to make a good impression because we're so excited about who this person is and fantasize that they're going to be perfect and amazing and meet all of our needs.
Yeah. And just like drugs, you know, a lot of drugs you build a tolerance to. So over time, you need more of the drug to have the same effect. The same thing happens with love and relationships. At a certain point in time, that feeling that you get in the beginning of the relationship fades away. It doesn't have the same effect as it used to. Yeah. And a lot of people will start to resort back to those coping mechanisms, the way they deal with life and stress that they normally do outside of the relationship. Yep. You know, so showing your true colors after some months really is a true phenomena that happens. And we do try to impress our partners in the beginning. So in the beginning, we have motivation because of all of these hormones and chemicals that are pumping in our bloodstream. It gives us energy. You know, we wake up.
So excited.
It's better than coffee.
Yeah.
You know, we wake up and
it's better than Mountain Dew in coffee.
Oh my gosh. With a 5-hour energy.
Exactly.
You just feel almost, what's the word?
Like you're on crack.
Yes. I was going to say when, you know how teenagers feel like nothing can hurt them?
Yeah. Invincible.
Invincible. You feel invincible when you're in love. Over time, that does fade. And so for a lot of people, you know, it starts to feel like, man, that person that I knew in the beginning, that's not them now. They're not acting how they used to. Something's going on that's different. Yep. For people who are more secure, for people who have a better understanding of relationships, you understand that there's going to be a natural ebb and flow.
Yeah.
You know, so these types of things, when you start to see your partner maybe having a bit more of their own life, maybe you start to see some of those things that with rose-colored glasses you might have missed, you're not completely shocked. You're taking into consideration everything and making wise decisions about moving forward. There's also an understanding that that connection and that feeling that you get in the beginning is something that takes work really to sustain. You know, Esther Perel talks about how that feeling of love and connectedness, that spark and passion, is something that is nurtured, which I find is a really interesting concept.
Yeah. I think avoidance in particularly, they're stuck at an early developmental stage where they don't think relationships are supposed to be work. They think they're supposed to be catered to, like mommy and daddy took care of them, or were supposed to take care of them when they were little. So now they're unconsciously wanting mommy and daddy to take care of them instead of making a real effort to be a partner. A lot of times they just want you to take care of them. You should know what I want. Things like that.
Right. And they're okay with the relationship becoming a little bit more separate. You know, they start to have things in their own life. You probably have your things going on in your life. You realize, oh shoot, I actually do have to make it to work.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the avoidant can start to see the relationship differently at that point.
Absolutely, and they do. And so they have this mindset of, well, it's supposed to be easy. If you were the right person, it would just be natural and easy. They say that a lot. It should be easy, but I'm sorry, it's just not. Even with two secure, healthy people, it's not easy. It is still, you have to be committed to making an effort and not being complacent. And that's what happens a lot of times. People stop trying, you know. Over time, the chemicals, those love hormones, start to calm down. They come down. You get more familiar with that person, and the issues you have, your attachment issues are going to come out. You know, attachment traumas, the way you've been hurt before, your fears are going to start to come out, and all kinds of issues are going to come up. Mental health is going to come up. People that struggle with depression, the depression is going to come back. People that struggle with anxiety, that's going to come up. It's going to take over their life. And so it's no longer this magical fairy tale anymore. It's two people who have their own issues and problems having to work to meet somebody's needs that's probably very different than their own.
Exactly. And how we take care of ourselves really does bleed into our relationship. We often see people who get complacent in their relationships actually having an issue with depression. And
that's big.
The relationship itself can give you a little bit of a boost. It can improve your mood for a period of time. But like Craig said, once those chemicals calms down, once you become more familiar, that underlying depression comes back and it appears and presents as complacency in a relationship.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And what I see a lot too is you don't realize it, but when you first meet that person, they were depressed. But because they were so excited about you and their brain was releasing so many chemicals that almost it was like a high for them. And then as the chemicals come back down, they go back into that depression.
Exactly. So this is why we talk so much about doing the work and what that means, focusing on your mental health and focusing on yourself. This is not just something that you do in your time of singleness. This is something that you do carry into your relationship. And for a lot of you, this concept is really confusing because you think, well, in a relationship, you're supposed to give your all. Yes, and you are also supposed to be able to take care of yourself to be able to give that energy to your partner and share that energy with your partner. A lot of people come into relationships, they feel that initial high, and they think, okay, I can latch onto this person to sustain me emotionally.
And they also feel like it's going to last forever.
Yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of people want to get married at 3 months in, because they think they're marrying into that feeling forever.
Right.
But it's a delusion. It doesn't work like that.
Yep. And so a lot of times that depression does come back anyways. You know, if you don't work on those core internal issues, then, you know, you still have those problems into the relationship. A partner isn't a solution. A relationship isn't a solution to attachment wounds or to, you know, mental health issues. So just keep that in mind. Complacency can also happen when you think that another person isn't going to leave.
That is huge.
We see this a lot, particularly with avoidants who are dating anxious people. You see that your partner is giving everything. You see that they are okay with some of the mistakes that you're making, with some of the things that you didn't show in the beginning. You were trying to impress your partner, and then that bar, the standard, starts to come down more and more and more. It's normally gradual. And you realize, okay, well, my partner was okay with me leaving one dish in the sink, and then slowly it became 2, then slowly it became 3, and then you're like, what the heck, I'm not even gonna clean before they come over. So the bar starts changing as the relationship progresses. This can give the impression that no matter what, your partner isn't going to leave. And sometimes it's been years and years and years, and it's almost become the dynamic of the relationship. Oh, I know they're okay with it. Like, they know me. You know how I am. You know how this is. And don't be fooled. Everybody has their limits. Even people who are anxious, even people who are very anxious will have their limit.
Absolutely.
And sure, after a breakup, somebody with a more anxious attachment style might be more likely to reconcile the relationship. But somebody with a more anxious attachment style who has been with somebody who has been complacent or not working towards goals or not
neglectful.
Yes, exactly. Resentment starts to build up. There is a type of rage that starts to build up when you realize how you've been treated, and when you realize that your level of trust in someone, your level of investment into a relationship has been taken advantage of.
Yes.
So be mindful of how you treat others, even if you feel like they really care about me. They can handle it. You still want to treat them with respect.
Yep. And I've seen this breakup tons and tons and tons of times. So if you're in a situation, I'll be happy to coach you through that, because I already know a lot of the mistakes they're going to make, right? Because people in this situation tend to make the same mistakes because of the guilt they feel about what happened in the breakup. So one of the things that I love so much about breakups is really how much they'll motivate you to change your life. Truly. This may be the most motivated you'll ever be to really grow and change. And so I encourage all of you to use this as an opportunity to make yourself in such a good place emotionally and heal those attachment issues. So if your ex doesn't come back, you're going to blow away the next person that you date, and you won't struggle with these patterns of complacency, because you'll know the consequences of those things. Because you have to bring your attention to your emotional issues, and they're hard to see. They don't magically just pop in your brain and you understand it all at once. You'll have a lot of aha moments. And I remember when I was going to see Margaret once and twice a week, I'd have all these aha moments where I was like, oh, and it starts to make you feel a lot more whole and a lot more secure in who you are. But it takes time, Emotional health, is there anything that's a bigger priority than feeling good and feeling mentally healthy? I don't think so.
Right. And with complacency issues, a lot of times you've also been complacent with yourself and your emotions.
It's a great point.
So sometimes people will become complacent in their relationship, but heavily focused on work. Well, the relationship took the back burner because I wanted to get these things done for our future. More than likely, you are future-minded or past-minded, not being in the present moment with your partner, connecting, noticing what emotions you have, being able to have that time to really bond. So I hope that the message you get from this is not to beat yourself up for being complacent, but understanding more of the reason why you were led to complacency and how there could be mental health issues behind that.
Yes.
Complacency has a lot to do with yourself. How you do anything is how you do everything. So make sure you are taking care of yourself and don't be complacent during a relationship, and especially after a breakup with yourself.
Absolutely. You have to shift your mindset and always be aware of it, because people will leave if the relationship isn't good and they're not getting their needs met. And they should. Why should they stay if they're unhappy for an extended amount of time or someone's not being receptive to them? And that goes for you as well, if somebody's neglecting you. But, you know, as you start to unpack these things, you'll start to feel better. You'll start to know how to navigate things easier. And, of course, we can help you with that. You know, you can get a coaching with us on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Victoria is also available for Skype coaching.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
That's right. It's very easy to sign up with her. Just click on her name at the top of the website to schedule with her. You can check out the knowledge workbooks or the creative healing course. They're all meant to help you grow and really make you the best version of yourself. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, but that's it for this one. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.